I'm ready.
Yes.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode. You know, we're in the month of August now.
Crazy.
July went away.
Very quickly.
Guys, I'm so sorry about last week. We didn't have an episode, but Dad has been on the road getting ready for the holiday season for all his work. And I'm back, and I think we should be pretty consistent now. We'll hopefully bang out a couple this week. So when I have to go back to New York for 2 weeks, and then we're going to have wedding stuff to do. And
it's going to be a wild...
we're on a wild ride.
Finish to the summer and early fall.
We are on a wild ride. So we're going to have to do some back-to-back recording, Justin.
Yes. Some late overnights, all-nighters.
We've all learned that Dad does not do well at night. If you guys remember back a couple episodes, my eye was beginning to roll back in the back of my head like a pinwheel.
But somehow you still heard everything.
I did. We were able to make it through it. So anyways, we're here. We're ready to go. Justin, you got some great stories for us?
Yes.
And let's tear into them.
Do you want to know our theme?
Yeah, I'd love to know our theme.
We're kind of going to the world of what's the best way forward, what's the path of least resistance, and where we fall on that spectrum. Because sometimes the path of least resistance may not always be the best path.
That is very true. Sometimes it's hard to take the best path.
So we shall see where these fall.
Well, let's go do it.
Number one. Hi, FKS fam. I could use some advice on how not to hate my mother-in-law. In terms of our one-on-one relationship, she's been nothing but pleasant. She gets me gifts when she travels. We have pleasant conversations. I do favors for her. It's all very kind and familial. The issue is with how she treated my husband when he was growing up. She got some sort of hoarding disease and didn't provide him with a safe or clean home growing up. It brings tears to my eyes to remember him telling me stories of being kept up at night by the rats, no space in the house being safe, going home during college for a favorite shirt and it having holes eaten through it. Nothing has changed in her house. My husband moved out after high school and never returned. We are now in our early 30s. We're 31 and 33. So his time of living in that hell is long over. We met in college, so I never knew him while he was living with her, but I know the impact it's left on him. He's forgiven her for the most part, and it's understandable because she's always been his only parent. He needs her in his life, but I just can't get over it. I seethe with rage when I see her. I keep it as polite as possible, but I don't have a good poker face, and I think everyone's picked up on the fact that I can't stand to be in her presence for longer than necessary. It's starting to put a strain on my marriage. My husband loves his mom, and she's very involved in our life. So I need some advice on how to move forward with our relationship without feeling angry all the time. Ideal outcome, be able to live our life with my mother-in-law in it without feeling this bitterness and anger, to be able to enjoy family activities without stewing over the past. That, frankly, doesn't even involve me.
Wow. You know, as you're reading this, I am processing a lot of information from life experiences.
Yes.
And in one way or another, the story is not uncommon, more common than you would think. And I guess the only answer I really have for you that comes to mind is the only thing you really can control and make a difference is your own home. Your husband, you, children, if you have them or you're going to have them, is to keep that home as safe so no one has to go repeat this. The fact that he's in a nest that you guys have created and you keep it in a way that everyone knows your house should be kept with, meaning no vermin feces. I mean, look how Gene Hackman died and his wife from the disease that comes from, vermin feces.
Yeah.
And I mean, the toxicities can actually kill people. And that's scary. Now, the fact that this woman is clueless and she's, basically lives within filth, it just blows me away. But you do find families that, mother-in-laws, mothers, father-in-laws, fathers, can really be, nuts in their own way. I run across it all the time. It's crazy, where even the kids have issues with their senior adult parents, but they themselves have families and, they function normally, and, they try to actually end up tuning out some of their these parental, units. And it's sad because some of the people are so wonderful. They're well intended. They're just, a little disconnected.
Yeah.
So my answer is the only thing you can control is your own home. Give your husband, give your children, give yourself the proper healthy household that you want, and don't let anyone corrupt it. You have to protect your own nest.
Yeah.
And so with the others, you're going to have to govern it when they come around. And don't allow them to bring any kind of filth or anything that's going to be a problem. Don't let your children go stay at her house. Obviously, her house isn't safe. I mean, and you could be really directly honest with her and say, if you call her Esther, you call her Mom, whatever you call her. Say, and she'll say, but can't the kids come visit? And your answer is, we really have concerns.
Yeah.
David, who could be her son, I'm using fictitious names, knows about the rats that he had to live with, and he doesn't know if it's changed. We want to make sure that you do a health report or environmental impact, make sure the house is safe. And I don't mean to be saying this to be cruel, but we have to make sure that we have an environment that we are protecting your grandchildren, because you didn't protect your son. We have reason to doubt. And I'm not trying to be mean. I have to be protective. And that's being honest.
Yeah.
So that is where I would really, say, watch your nest, protect your yearlings.
Right.
And, I think that is fair. But always be honest and direct, and don't, you can't hate someone because they don't know any better. I mean, we expect them to know better, and now she does know better, but I just look at this stuff, pretend if someone had a broken leg, you would say, oh my God, I got to give her crutches when she comes in the house, or build a ramp or help her or something.
Mm-hmm.
This person, I really look at this as psychological illness, and treat somebody that has an illness as they are sick. And maybe we need to be a little more compassionate and just kind of work around it, that we still let people around if we can control the environment. And if you can't, then you can't bring your kids around, or whatever else you want to do.
Or it's on your turf, where you can control it, like you were saying.
You have to control it.
Because you can't control anybody.
Nope.
I mean, you can't control how they choose to live their life. You can control how that is in your life and your interactions with them. But at some point, it's letting the past be the past, because it's not all that dissimilar to being really upset with how the person you love, the person you're with, your partner, if someone cheated on them or was horrible to them in the past before you even knew them, you can get feelings of being very angry. Like, how could anyone treat this person that is my everything that way? How could they just disregard them? And you can go all the way up the scale of how bad it can get, but there's not necessarily any good that can come from it. And I think maybe it gets to a point of just individual therapy where you can work through that anger you feel for things that are not necessarily even like happening now. Yeah, I'm sure he has a lot of effects that have prolonged from that experience growing up, but it's not actively happening now. A lot of it's just in the past and this trauma that's been carried forward. So I feel you, but there's not necessarily anything good that comes from that anger. It's only going to be destructive. And you already say it's starting to have an impact on your marriage, and you don't want to lose your marriage. So it's finding a way to, and it doesn't even have to be accept, but it's finding a way to just put that in its box in the past. And that is what it is. And like you were saying, it's how you then take that forward and create an environment for your kids
Mm-hmm.
and for your husband and yourself that is not that. It's no different than kids that grow up in a certain way, look at the way their parent was or the environment they grew up in and say, I'm going to do the opposite for my kids. I'm not going to have my kids go through that, because that's the only difference you can make.
Does she talk about how her mother-in-law treats her now again? Repeat that. What kind of respect that she gives her at this point in time? Is there...
Just said it's nothing but pleasant conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's all very kind, familial. And the issue is with how she treated my husband when he was growing up.
She can't hold that thing over her head. I mean, it's really her husband. If he has an issue, he's got to deal with it with his mom. If he's having chronic nightmares at night, there's some things that she can certainly say. He's got these nightmares going on from this, but we got to deal with it. But I don't know if that's the case. If she's changed it, that's where I'm really, is it still an awful dirty home? Does she still live within vermin? Or have they cleaned up their act? I mean, that would be more concerning to me.
Yeah.
Is what she's doing today. And then that would be up to her. And if that's in the mother-in-law's home, that would be up to probably her husband to talk to her mother-in-law, say, gee, Mom, you got to clean up your act. You're putting yourself in a health risk.
Yeah. And then if she doesn't, then that's her choice.
Yeah.
So, but the main part here is that I seethe with rage when I see her. That's what we need to sort.
She needs that's on her. She needs to get help with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that you siege with rage when you see her and you're holding that torch against her, seek some assistance on how to get that released from you, because that's all on you at this point. You're the one that, I mean, if your husband is dealt with it,
right,
then again, you're the only one that has the problem.
Yeah.
And and he's not living it right now. He's in your own home. So hopefully your home is wonderful and safe, and you both get safe environments with it, and you're able to, conduct your lives normally.
Yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll on number 2.
Number 2. Hello, Father Knows Something crew. I need some advice on everyone's favorite topic.
Sex.
Weddings plus family drama.
Oh, it's not sex.
No.
Oh. Okay, well, sorry guys, I was wrong. Weddings and family drama.
I'm in the super early stages of wedding planning. I, 26 female, just got engaged in April. My partner, 28 male, and I have just started the process of planning our wedding.
Beware landmines.
Ultimately, this process is stressful for many reasons that I feel are normal for most couples, but I am really struggling due to the strained relationship that I have with my parents, more so my father. Since I was a teenager, I have had a very tumultuous relationship with my father. He and I do not see eye to eye on many things, and he has treated me very unkindly in several scenarios, even into my early adulthood. I have been low contact with him since I graduated from my undergraduate degree and moved out on my own. This has made my life so much easier. I have also been going to therapy and really working through some of the emotional trauma that I have due to the family dynamic that I grew up in. With all of that being said, I do have positive family relationships. My maternal grandparents are literally the kindest people you could ever meet. I also have good relationships with my 2 siblings. We share much of the experiences and bond over what we have all been through. As for my mom, we can get along fine most of the time. She's just very concerned about never wanting to upset my father, so she tries to keep the peace at all times, even when it hurts her kids. Anyway, on to the issue at hand. I am not the most traditional person, and I am okay with skipping some of the traditional wedding elements. But several aspects of a wedding tend to focus around family. Things like having your dad walk you down the aisle and having the father-daughter dance specifically stress me out because it would be so frustrating and sad to me since I do not even have a good relationship with my father. But I know telling my parents this will make a huge issue. I've even talked to my grandma about having my grandfather walk with me because he is much more of a father figure to me. But she said she wouldn't want that because she wouldn't want my father to be angry at my grandparents. Again, he is unkind to them as well. The thing is, I can walk alone and skip the father-daughter aspects, but I don't want drama. My fiance's family is wonderful, and I want him to be able to have his mother-son dance and have them be a part of the wedding as much as they want to be. But that is going to make things even more obvious that his family is included and mine is not. This is such a mess. I just want to enjoy my day. I feel like oftentimes advice leans toward, you only get one dad, you can forgive him for what he has done, don't hold grudges, you will regret not having your dad be a part of your big day, etc. But I'm genuinely happy being low contact with my father. The lack of drama is so much better for my mental health, and having him be a part of my day would feel so disingenuous. He and my mother will be invited, but I just want them there as guests, but not part of the wedding itself. So, how can I go about this whole mess and wedding planning while keeping my dad at kind of arm's distance, preferably with as little drama as possible? Any advice is appreciated. Thank you.
I will tell you that apparently weddings bring drama for a lot of people. We experience our own dramas going on. And my only advice really is that a lot of the drama is created within the dynamic of the wedding and in the parties.
And kind of the coming together of all these people that don't normally come together.
If you have an issue with a father that you don't want them to, walk you down the aisle, you just say, this is the way we want to do it. I think that's it. You just do what you want. I know that if Morgan came to me and said, Dad, I got all this shit going on and, I don't want, we've had our issues and I don't want you to walk me down the aisle. I would say, Morgan, that's your wish.
But you would be more receptive. She is anticipating him to just kind of it's going to blow something up. She's caught between trying to please her mom and her dad and not cause drama, even though she'd really prefer her grandpa to walk her down the aisle. But her mom is like, nope, can't do that because then your dad is going to never be the same with your grandparents. So it's just, there's so many dynamics here. So how do you approach it as her when, man, I just want to have the best day possible, least drama. If she wanted her grandfather to walk her down the aisle, should she just make that?
I would say that's it. If she has a passion that she wants her granddad to walk her down the aisle, say, grandfather's walking me down the aisle. And if her dad says, why am I not? And she says, Dad, we've had some issues. And I really feel that grandpa is the one that I really want to have me walk me right now. And that's it.
And maybe the balance is walking yourself down. I mean, if really what we're after here is to have stress-free wedding, enjoy the day, and then not also have the risk of some drama happening, it's tough. It's really tough.
She said that she wants her grandfather to walk her down the aisle. If he earned that right, then, and they have that relationship, she should be able to have her grandfather to walk her down the aisle, if that's what she wants.
And then, so if she wants her father and mother to be invited, just not a part of the wedding itself, you guys are guests. I want you there on my day.
Yeah, she just doesn't call them to do anything else. Say, this is your invitation is to be here. I want you to be here, but I have people that I'm going to have do certain things, and that's. I wouldn't even, if you don't call them to walk down the aisle, they shouldn't expect to walk you down the aisle.
Right.
I'd rather just say we're inviting you to be here, and if they come to you and say, when do I walk you down the aisle? You say, Dad, I really appreciate the offer, but I'm really having Grandpa walk me down the aisle. And do that rather than saying, I'm not having you.
Yeah.
Just say who you are having. And you're invited, but you're not walking down the aisle. You're invited. And that's really what I would do. Because you're not inviting for what they're not doing. You're just saying you're invited to do this. You're invited to show up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You ever had a wedding invitation sent to you before?
A time or two, yeah.
And did they say, you're walking to my wedding, but you're not walking me down the aisle?
Right. I mean,
The answer was no, you never got that. You you're invited to the wedding, either, +1 or no +1, and you identify what it is. And then that person can say, yeah, I'm coming, but what about my walking you down the aisle? Oh, well, Dad, I would love that, but it's not happening on this one. I'm having Grandpa walk me, but I want you to be there.
yeah.
And that's it. And then he can make the choice of saying, something, I'm going to be there or not be there.
True.
And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious how a lot of you listening have dealt with this, because I feel like it's rather common. It's not necessarily always a dad or a mom. It can be two people,
two girlfriends,
two groups of people that just are oil and water, but nonetheless both there. So it's like, I'm curious how someone has dealt with specifically the dad aspect within the walking down the aisle and the father-daughter dance, because is there a way where you could still have the mother-son dance and then you join as a part of it? Or, because I'm curious how that looks, because I understand if you didn't have the father-daughter dance and then you have the mother-son dance, it feels this imbalance. But
what happens if you just have a dance? Everyone joins a dance.
There's that too.
And eventually your father rolls in and says, may I dance with my daughter? I mean, you can go to a wedding and not put on the father-daughter or mother-daughter dance or mother-father-daughter dance or whatever combination you there want.
Yeah.
But everyone just begins to dance, and whoever shows up and says, can I have this dance? You have that dance, and everyone dances with everybody. You don't have to feature that first dance if you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's how you choreograph the day.
Yeah.
And I would, since you're so defined not to have something, undefine it. And just let everyone do their thing and just take that part out of the agenda, and what will flow will flow.
Yeah.
First dance could be you and the husband. And then from that, everyone just, change your partner.
Yeah. True. I mean, I'm really curious in the comments if everyone could go put their experience here. That's going to be much more valuable than anything we can provide, because you have lived it. And I think that's the best place to give advice from.
I mean, I certainly see where, where these women, one girl may want to be, you may want to have Betty as your matron or maid of honor, and Susie thinks she's going to be your maid of honor.
It's like at every level.
It's all the way through in these weddings. So, look, sometimes you just have to say, I have this plan and this is what I'm doing. I mean, at times I think of that. If I were to get married, who would I have as my best man?
Mm-hmm.
I have lifelong friends that I'd like to have there for that.
Yep.
And then I thought to myself, no, I think I'm just going to have my son, or one son for this and one son for that. And who do you have? Do you have both? We have one.
Right. It's at every level.
It's a goofy deal.
Well, and there is, that's interesting, because a lot of people, you choose a sibling or you choose a friend, but then I'm sure that ends up rippling through, and there's a couple friends that probably are like, well, now that person's seen as the best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that causes, it just, put your experience in the comments, and I'm excited to read through all of it.
At the end of the day, whatever it is, people just, you're married, and they all kind of forget. I mean, my brother, I remember in 1983, maybe it was 84 by that point in time. And it was January 84. And I called my brother, and I had just broken up with the woman that I was engaged to. And I was crushed. And I said, Happy New Year to you. And he says, don't wish me a Happy New Year. Wish me a happy wedding. And I said, excuse me? And he goes, yeah, I got married today. I said, you got married today? And I go, thinking that my brother ever got married, I would be his best man.
Right.
I wasn't invited to the wedding. His law partner was his witness. His 3-year-old son was the best man. And I just said, Oh, okay. And so now I had a double whammy. I got broken up with, and my brother rejected me as his best man. You get over it. I mean,
Yeah.
was I angry with him about it? No, I was dumbfounded. But at the end of the day, you kind of laughing. I watch all these different marriages and weddings of people through my life, and I go, it really doesn't matter. As long as they're happy, they're married. Let's go on.
Like
with
what it's
life.
really about. Yeah.
Let's all get over ourselves and our egos.
And maybe it's just being clear up front at this stage for her. Be clear, stick to the plan, and, the drama hopefully will unravel and sort itself prior to the day instead of surprising someone on that day. And then there's drama. You don't want that. So probably best to get out ahead of it and then let us know.
I would really like to believe that, people don't have diabolical plans of destroying your weddings, that their plans are really to come to enjoy the event with you. And if people that are going to come to be diabolical, to ruin your event, don't invite them. Don't open the door. I mean, that's what you don't want people that are not going to enjoy the event. The idea is everyone's there to enjoy the event and bless your union, period.
Yeah. And not object.
And not object. That's really what it is. If they're going to come in peace to enjoy your moment and they're going to enjoy being a part of it, by all means, they're in. And if they can't come with that blessing, they're out. That's the simplest thing.
Okay.
Let's move on to number 3.
Number 3. Trigger warning on this story contains mentions of substance abuse. Hello, Morgan, Justin, and of course, Dad. My bio dad has been in and out of my life since day one. My bio mom has been MIA my whole life. My mommy and poppy, bio dad's mom and stepdad, adopted me when I was in 3rd grade. Growing up, I always heard that my bio dad was in the hospital. When I got older, the hospital was actually rehab for bipolar and substance abuse. Now on to the current issue. A year ago, his truck broke down and I wasn't able to go help him until the next day when I was able to get a ride. I called and told him my ride was on the way. He was fine. Called him when I was on the way so he could tell me where the truck was. He blew up. So I hung up on him and that was it. I have put up with his childish temper tantrums, walking on eggshells, and I'm not doing it anymore. I have 3 boys with my amazing husband, and he stands behind me on whatever I decide with my bio dad. I don't want my boys dealing with the same bullshit that I did growing up, but he calls me almost every day. My voicemail is always full. I just want it all to stop. Ideal outcome? I don't really know. I just don't want to keep doing this with him and my kids having to see him act an ass. Additional info, I know he isn't taking his medication. He left me a voicemail and was calm. He left my sister a voicemail 4 minutes later going off, saying that I can't keep him from his grandsons and that I will just show up at my house, and if I want him to leave, I will have to call the police. He thinks that I don't like calling the police, but things have changed in this past year. My job as security. I have many cops' personal numbers and will call them if needed.
Your job is to protect your cubs. And if your father's behavior is not healthy, it's your job to stop it. And if you need to get a restraining order, then that's what you have to do. And that's what I really would do. I would just file the restraining order. First talk to him, let him know that if he does the following thing, restraining order will be forthwith. Say, I'm not playing. I just want to make sure you understand what will happen if you do the following. And our relationship just is not healthy. And if you want to go get help, and you can get help, and later come back and show us that there's a difference, I can reconsider, some of this action. But your behavior has got us here, and you have to understand that.
Yeah.
And be very black and white about it. And say, as soon as you bust these rules, it's going to happen. And as soon as he does bust it, have it all prepared, issue it. And that's all you can do. I mean, I feel your frustration and your pain of all this, but I also hear the fact that you're at your wit's end.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing here is you have your boys, you have an amazing husband that stands behind you.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your pack, speaking of Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, your life going forward is what you make it. And this is when boundaries start to become legal boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
If they have to get there, that becomes kind of the ultimate enforcement of a boundary, is when it has to get to that stage. And honestly, based on the little bit we have here, I just feel that I don't know how much a conversation will do, but I think you have to make it clear, as you say, very clear, straightforward. He'll probably blow up on the phone or whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
but the message is what the message is. It's not twisted. There's no way to turn it. It just, if this happens, then this happens.
Right. And it was their action that caused it.
Right.
It's not your action.
Yeah.
And that's got to be made it's not that you're doing this. It's the fact that they brought this to happen. And if the behavior is done with anything other than with absolute acceptance, it's monitored, you bust it any way, shape, or form to have a behavior problem, it's going to be enforced.
Yeah.
And boom, it's done.
Yeah. I'm sorry you're going through this and dealing with this. And it's kind of a lot when you've tried and you try to help out.
Mm-hmm.
You still try to be there for your dad, but it's just gotten harder and harder. And now it's to the point where it feels like he'll just show up. And if I want to leave, call the cops. We're getting to levels that feel like threat.
No threat. It's the oh well clause. The oh well clause. And I lived this one with Morgan when she was 8 years old, and she threw something on the floor and busted it up. The oh well clause is that if you do this, this is going to happen. And you have to just enforce it, or the behavior is going to keep testing you and testing you and testing you.
Yeah.
You have to let them know it's not a test. This is just the way. It's like if I turn on that light switch over there, the lights are going to go on. If I press the bottom thing, the light's going to go off. There's no if and or buts. It's going to happen.
Well, and it's good that you're not afraid to call the police at this point, or that you don't like to. It's good that, you have that ready. It's good to have and not need, but it's great to have when you need it.
Agree. Okay. Number 4.
Hey, FKS fam, I've got a pretty big problem, and I really just need a third party to hear this and offer up some familial advice. My 28 female family is not coming to my wedding. For context, we're eloping with plans of a big ceremony and reception next year. My fiance, 26 female, and I only wanted to invite our family and closest friends. Originally, my sister, mom, and best friend were going to be there. My dad has barely spoken to me since I came out and treats me and my fiance very coldly. Well, my sister can't go due to health issues, and even though I'm very hurt by this, I'm trying to be understanding. My sister is the only person from my original family unit that accepts my sexuality and partner. So when she said she couldn't make it, I knew my mother wasn't going to either. Sure enough, my mother called me, sobbing, saying she couldn't make herself go to the wedding, and offered me any amount of money to leave and move back to my hometown. I don't want to get into any more of the phone call. To summarize, I told her it was probably best she didn't go. It's been a few days and I'm just devastated. I literally started writing this in the middle of doing my hair to go try on reception dresses for next year because I was crying so hard. How can they expect me to forgive this? Even if I never fully forgive it, how do I move on? I don't even see a way forward at this point. I know they are very devoted to their religion, and I had to work very hard to come to terms with being queer myself. But at what point does understanding no longer matter? Thank you for reading this. Ideal outcome: to find a path to forgiveness, or at the very least, repair the relationship. Additional info, my family won't do therapy unless it's a Christian therapist. I refuse to see a Christian therapist because it's not in the interest of protecting my peace. My fiance and I have been together for 2.5 years, and I've been out to my family for 2 years.
Well, I'm going to start this by saying congratulations to you
Yes.
and your wife-to-be, and I wish you all the happiness. And the most important thing is that when you have a wedding, you want everyone there to be in support of who you're marrying and what in your life, and the happiness in your life. That's what a wedding is about, is to bring your community together, that everyone is enjoying and is joyous for your union. And the fact that they are not joyous and they have rebellion against your union, for whatever their reasons, they don't have to be there. It's that simple. And it's their loss. If you mean that much to them, it's their problem and their loss to not be there. You know, I understand you're sad that they're not supporting you for whatever their reasons, but you in reality want the people that are supporting you to be there. And I feel you're lost that they're not there because they're important to you. But there lies the rub and the conflict. But you can't compromise. Let anyone to be there that is in support of your happiness. And look, I've never been married, and I would love to be married, and I hope one day that I am married. I will tell you that the only people that will be invited are only people that qualify by supporting my union. And if they're not in support of the union, they're out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a kind of a binary thing.
Well, and then also that coupled with, your sister's health complications that made it so she will not be able to attend the elopement.
Mm-hmm.
And that you feel like your biggest champion, your strongest ally, is not going to be there. Yeah, your best friend, because you said originally my sister, mom, and best friend were going to be there. The best friend will still be there because up at the top, they were eloping tomorrow as this was being written. Mm-hmm. So I assume it happened.
It's happened.
Unless it got pushed so the sister could be there, I assume it happened. So A, I'm curious how it went. And B, now we're really talking about the reception, because the elopement is one thing, very big deal. Mm-hmm. I hope it was magical and beautiful for you and you guys as a couple. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, who's the most important person to be there is your wife.
Right.
I mean, that's it. Without her and her wife, because in reality, you can get married. It's between you, your spouse, and God, the universe, whatever which way you want to say it to be. And if it's the two of you standing underneath the moonlight, looking at each other in the eye, holding your hands and saying, I promise to be yours and to share my life with you and to go through life experiences with no one but you,
yep,
as the most important person to have these experiences with, to have all the intimacy that and heart and locking in. You don't need anybody else. Everybody else is simply part of the witnessing of it.
Right. And so now we're dealing with, assuming that already happened, now we're dealing with a mom that clearly just backed out.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking forward to reception in about a year. So as you were saying before, well, your lack of wanting to come and support me for the actual moment probably is going to lead to you not attending the reception, which is a celebration of the big moment, which you chose to not be at.
Right. And we hope that by the time that year shows up, that maybe some welcoming and some feelings can all be amended by that point in time. And that's where she said, I hope that the repairing of the relationship. You know, a lot of times things do repair themselves over time. I'm glad that you stood your ground and you got married. As far as we're concerned, we're going to assume they did, and that you're happy and you're with the right person. And I believe you probably are. And the rest of the people, I hope they can just get on board or get off the ship.
Yeah.
And I know that your mom and everyone's important. Look, we all find that our family is important to us. But somebody once also taught me sometimes you also have to create your family. Your friends become your best family. And you'll see if you can combine both.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of therapy,
Mm-hmm.
I certainly agree you should not go to a Christian therapist. I didn't even know that was a thing. But I think you should go to a therapist that you can discuss all the ins and outs of you and your mom and your dad's relationship and dealing with that lack of acceptance of who you are, maybe how you can explain in a certain way how it makes you feel and what you hope for from her and maybe your dad, but it seems like, as you put here, it may be a big hill to climb for your dad. So I think seeing a therapist is a great thing, an individual therapist for yourself, just to see how to work through all that, because that's big stuff.
And I would be interested in knowing if there's a liberal Christian therapist that has experience with homosexuality and blessing it. I don't know if that's an oxymoron, for lack of a better, statement. If it's impossible, because but I do believe there are different religion levels that have different acceptances and ways of going through some of these paths for these acceptances. I just don't know. But if there are, Christian-based therapists that can explain to their parent about Christianity and some of the acceptance and non-acceptances, maybe they can find their way through it. I think that the Catholic churches even worked their way into some of this acceptances. And that was some of the problems that that's some of the challenges they have when they select a pope, what the pope can finally find their way through as we have, kind of come through society over the last, thousands of years.
Yeah.
So
curious. I wonder that could be good for your mom. But I still think for you individually, go see just a non-religious therapist and start there for yourself. And then let us know how this one evolves, because there's some time before this reception. So let's see. And also how the dresses went. Did you find the one?
I hope so. All right, we're moving on to number 5.
Number 5. Okay, trigger warning on this one contains talks of child abuse and sexual assault. Please proceed with caution. If you can't handle that today, move on to the last story. We will have a number 6. Markers are in the description.
Number 5.
Number 5. My daughter just turned 13. She is at the age of wanting more freedom, which is fine, but she is also asking hard questions I am not sure how to answer. The issue comes from her father. Since birth, he didn't want custody but was given 50-50 legal. In 2021, he was arrested and charged with having CP on his computer, abuse of a minor, and accosting a minor age 14 or younger. She knows he went to jail but doesn't know exactly why. She wants to know why he went to jail and why he's not around as he was. How should I go about this? Ideal outcome: how to word/handle this problem without making her feel like I'm keeping her away from him. Additional info: he can see her. I do not reach out to him. He must message me and ask to see her, which he does maybe 2 times a year. He will say he wants to see her more but never follows up on it. We meet in public and they are never left alone together. He used to have her on weekends until he was arrested. He denies his convictions even though there is proof. He also had said something about her body when she was 9 that raised red flags, like she should wear a bra because it makes him uncomfortable. Any advice or any help from anyone listening is greatly appreciated.
He's a convicted predator, and he's got to be on the list.
Yeah.
And she's 13. She's old enough to really know the truth. I think the mother has a responsibility to make sure that anyone that is in the peripheral perimeter of this person knows that this person has been a convicted predator. And he wants to go fight that and go try to make it, that decision overturned somehow and come up clean, great. But until that day, he is a convicted predator. And we see this all the way up through our political machine with some people. If you are a convicted predator, you are. It's a matter of fact.
Yes.
And so I'm going to reinforce it again. She has to absolutely let her daughter know what the story is and not try to camouflage it, color it, anything else. It is what it is.
Yes. And I think, we've seen, it's not nearly as serious as this, but we've seen this in other stories where a child will be getting older to the point where they're starting to be very aware of the world around them. Mm-hmm. And they will start to ask questions. And a lot of times on this show, it's been, this is my stepdad. Where's my bio dad? And what's the story with him? Or sometimes we've even had one where they thought that this person was their dad. And the person writing in was trying to figure out how to tell their child that, no, your actual dad by birth is this. And I don't remember the context of the story, but it reminds me of those stories where you have a parent who's at a crossroads of, they're getting older, they're starting to ask questions, and I don't necessarily know when or how to present that. Mm-hmm. And I think that can come from some of you listening. Hopefully you can shed some light on your experience in this. And also this could involve a therapist that could help work through, not necessarily being a middleman, but more for the parent here to go into therapy, say, here's a situation. I'm trying to figure out how to present this to my child. If you make the decision that you want to tell her and you want to tell her now, what's the best way to approach this? Someone that has experience in it, has seen it a lot in the past and what's worked and what doesn't. And also it's going to be that mixed with, you know your child better than anyone else. So you're going to know a little bit more on the best way to present it. So in terms of, do you tell her? Yes, you probably should. Is this the right time?
I'm going to step on that.
Okay.
That should. You have an obligation to tell your daughter. And you have an obligation as mom to protect your daughter. Let her know exactly what this means. And if anything should ever come up that seems unusual, or if it had come up unusual, you need to share it with me.
Right. And this now seems to be the right time because the daughter's the one who's starting to bring it up.
Absolutely.
And then you don't walk into a situation where it goes on too long and, oh, you didn't tell me and how could you keep this from me and that. Because that's the other side of the coin, which is not good. So it seems like we're at that time. I think you wrote in because it's naturally kind of become that time that this conversation needs to happen.
Absolutely. Make sure it happens.
All right.
And it's just fact.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to number 6.
Number 6, the big grand finale.
Bum, ba, bum, ba, 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 bum, bum, bum.
Bum, ba, dum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Very grand.
Yes.
Very grand.
Let's do it.
Hi, I've been listening to you since you started podcasting with Morgan, and I love your advice. There's not much we can do about my situation, but I would love some help putting perspective on the situation. I am sorry for my grammar. English is not my first language. So here it is. My dad, 60, has decided he doesn't want to do more treatment. This week we got the news that his cancer is back for the 3rd time. The last one was rough and he really hasn't been the same after. He is a silent and quiet man. He thinks a lot, worries, and just doesn't seem to have the happiness anymore. He tries, but I can see it. I am struggling to understand his choice. How can he stop fighting, stop living? On the other hand, How can I ask him to go through it once more? How can I help him as a daughter that just wants the best for him without being selfish? Ideal outcome to understand a dad's perspective, how to talk to my dad. Additional info, we're a family of 4, my big sister and I. She has 2 kids. I live over 30 hours away, considering moving back to be home more with my family. We still don't know how aggressive the cancer is this time.
I think you have to respect your dad's wishes and help him just enjoy whatever days he has. If he makes the choice that he wants to go battle, then he makes that choice. If he makes the choice that he says, I don't see a positive end, as this thing keeps coming back and I want to enjoy the days left, you have to go by what's the way that he wants to live his life his way at this point. I'm 68. I try to live every day, day by day. My dad died at 63. He was healthy as we all would imagine the day before he passed away. I can post a picture for all of you 12 hours before my dad passed. And you would look at this guy in this picture and you would say, no way. And I got a phone call 12 hours after that picture, basically. It was my brother, and I had just returned back to Minnesota. It was my family lived in California. And my brother said, matter-of-factly, Dad is dead. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And so I live every day to be as happy as I can be, to be with the people I want to be, and hope that everyone in my life can experience the fact that we all want to be happy and support that. And that's what I'm saying to you. Support your dad's happiness day by day. And when he is gone, trust me, he will still be in running through you. We don't live forever. Life cycle is reality. And anything less than living your life, with the living in that present moment, in all the happiness and support you can have, that is the trick. Do it. Just do it. And just be glad that whoever is with your dad, whatever he chooses, that is his happiness. And the day that he's gone, you'll be able to say, I gave him that happiness, that he was able to have whatever love I was able to give him during that period of time, and I enjoyed him. And Dad, I hope you run through me. And that's it. It's that simple.
I feel way out of my league on this topic, but I do know that a lot of times with battling cancer or an injury or recovering from a sickness, the net can be cast so wide. When the motivation to get better or to go to battle or to walk again or to whatever it may be comes from within, I feel that the progression of getting better and healing is that much stronger. I think it has to be a choice from the person.
Yeah, I mean, I have been through this with family. Life cycle and I are not disfamiliar to one another. I certainly have lost both parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends. I have been through this to such a part of just knowing that I've been able to feel them and their spirit run inside of me. So I kind of get death in a way. And, I grew up in a home that my dad would never talk about death. I mean, we were never allowed to go to a funeral as kids and young adults. I mean, he was like, stay away from the sun. I mean, he had such a fear of it that it was within his death that I learned what life and death and spirit was all about. Because when I actually went to see him at the mortuary, after that phone call from my brother, I mean, I was immediately back on an airplane flying back to LA, and I went to the mortuary. And I went to the mortician and said, may I see my father? And they put his body in a room and they uncovered him. And I kissed his forehead. And I felt the vessel versus the life form that my dad was. I recognized very quickly that was just a vessel and that his energy was far removed. But I was able to feel his energy in other circumstances if you listen.
Yeah.
And so for that, I would say, I understand your desire to want him to fight everything he can for every moment he can, but he may be timed out.
Which doesn't mean you can't have a conversation. It's not that you're pushing your will on him. It's more, all it takes is that switch internally to flip, that motivation to turn back on, to be like, yeah, I do want to fight for this. But no matter how they get there, it's got to be, that motivation has to fully come from within. But that doesn't mean you can't have a conversation and just talk with him about what he's going through.
Right.
Talk about what it was like last time. Talk about what it would look like this time. Like, get it all out there. There's no reason you can't have a big conversation with him and, talk about the future and talk about anything you want to.
But also at the same breath, enjoy every moment you are with him.
Yeah, it's not necessarily...
And let him enjoy every moment with you.
Yes. It's not going in and saying, you have to go do this, you have to go do this, but just talk about everything. Just get it out in the open, talk about everything, because you never know where that change of heart or that inspiration or that motivation is going to come from. Maybe it comes from a conversation you guys have that, I don't know, just unlock something in his mind, and maybe it doesn't. But I just know that it makes a big difference what comes from within and what the person wants. So
it's a tough one.
Very tough.
That was a very good one, but a very tough one.
Yeah.
Well, we had some interesting stories in this episode.
Yes.
And I look forward to all your comments in it, and I hope it all helps everybody that is out there that might be, this might affect, because that's why we really do the show, is that we are able to open up some of these tough topics and deal with them.
And pull together a bunch of people that have experience in these areas that we have none in.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we are just kind of talking into the mic, just saying words, but then the real beauty that unlocks is what all you who actually have the experience go in and put in the comments for these listeners.
Again, this is a safe space. We all talk about things and we don't hold any judgment on anybody. It's a safe space. So we look forward to seeing you in the backyard.
The backyard, we're going.
We're going to Patreon. So if you're not a member, please join us. We have different levels and you get more stories.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you there.
Bye.
Next week.